Hello, fellow travelers. Welcome to my channel. I hope that you all are doing okay and having an amazing day. If you are new to the channel, please give this video a thumbs up. Please hit the subscribe button, which is free, and then hit the notification bell so you won't miss when I post a video. If you're on social media, please give us a follow or a like on our Facebook page at Julia's Truckin' Cafe. That's spelled at Julia's, Julias, capital TRCKN, capital CAFE. Hey everyone, before I get started on this week's episode of what's going on in the trucking industry, I wanted to call your attention to the posts on my YouTube channel. If you wouldn't mind going there, I have a poll. I'm looking at trying something new after the first of the year with the show to keep it all interesting and hopefully entertaining and not just about the news and watching slides or what have you. So if you wouldn't mind going over to the post section on the channel and taking the poll that I have on what day that you would be most likely to watch the episode. And thank you so much for taking the poll. Now on to the news. CVSA sets January date for 5-day human trafficking. If I'm a little loud on the video, I apologize. The Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance, CVSA, has released the dates for an upcoming human trafficking awareness event. The CVSA's Human Trafficking Awareness Initiative, HTAI, will take place between January 13th through the 17th in 2025. In Canada, it is going to be scheduled for February 17th through the 21st. Of 2025. In Mexico, it's going to take place between March 17th and the 21st of 2025. During this 5-day event, these jurisdictions will work to educate commercial motor vehicle drivers, motor carriers, law enforcement officers, and the general public about the crime of human trafficking, what signs to look for, and what to do if you suspect someone that's being trafficked. This seeks to reduce human trafficking throughout North America, from Mexico through the United States into Canada, through coordinated enforcement and investigative and educational awareness measures within the commercial motor vehicle industry. If you suspect someone that's being human trafficked or in a situation that they're being human trafficked, or you are a victim of human trafficking in the U.S., you could call 888-373-7888. In Canada, you could call 833-900-1010. In Mexico, call 1-800-5533-000. Again, in the U.S., if you're in the States, call 888-373-7888. Canada, call 833-900-1010. And in Mexico, you could call 800-553-3000. Trucker is slapped with citation for festive holiday big rig lighting. In other words, he decorated his truck in all sorts of kinds of Christmas lights if you're listening to this on the audio side of the podcast. And he got pulled over. The Kansas Highway Patrol doled out a citation instead of Christmas cheer after spotting a semi-truck dressed up in lights for the holiday season. This was back the day after Thanksgiving. Trooper Gardner took to social media to explain why a recent semi-truck traffic stop ended up in a citation. Imagine You're driving down the road and seeing red or blue lights approaching from behind or coming toward you. Naturally, you might want to slow down and pull to the right, thinking it's an emergency vehicle. This split second reaction could create confusion and even lead to a dangerous crash. That's exactly why Trooper Mai stopped a semi earlier today that was lit up with festive holiday lights, including red and blue lighting displayed on the front of the cab. While the display was interesting and joyful and very holiday full of fun, these colors are reserved for emergency vehicles only and cannot be used on commercial vehicles or cars on public roadways. You could use green, yellow, or red, but no red and blue in combination. The driver was cited for unauthorized additional lighting to ensure safety on our highways. While we appreciate the holiday cheer, let's keep the roads safe for everyone. Save the lights for home or on the tree. But he had a lot of red and blue and red. On his truck. Now you could do a wreath. You could do candy canes. This kind of thing on a truck. I've done that. I had even a little tree that I had zip tied to what I call the oak crap handle on the next to the dash on the cab. That would light up at night when I was sitting still. I never had it while I was driving. Never had it on. You could put that kind of stuff on your grill, but this guy had the whole front of the cab all strung up in lights. And you can see that on the slide on our YouTube channel, in case you're listening to this as an audio podcast. A truck driver was arrested. They caught the guy that fatally hit and run in Missouri. If you remember the last episode that I did, elderly gentleman was on the side of Interstate 44 changing a tire, was broke down, and a truck driver clipped him and killed him. Well, they caught the guy. The Missouri State Highway Patrol confirmed that a semi-truck driver who was involved in a fatal hit and run along I-44 has been located and charged. This shortly after 6 p.m., the day after Thanksgiving, confirmed that a truck driver had been taken into police custody in connection with the crash that killed a pedestrian in Sullivan. Troopers want to thank the public for their assistance in locating this driver. The driver was later identified as Etem Mizarek, 44 of Florida. He was charged of felony leaving the scene of a crash resulting in death and a careless driving misdemeanor. Again, like I mentioned to you in the last episode, this crash occurred about 1:30 in the afternoon on Thanksgiving, eastbound on I-44 near the 225 mile marker. Troopers say that a pickup truck and an SUV were parked along the side of the road, and a 60-year-old man, my age, was changing a tire, so now you know my age. A semi-truck left the right side of the interstate and struck the man changing the tire as well as the SUV and the pickup truck. The driver of the semi did not stay at the crash scene. $40 million in cocaine was seized from a semi on the Illinois-Iowa state line. 2 men have been arrested after police found more than $40 million worth of cocaine inside of a semi-truck, in the Midwest. The incident occurred in November 29th at the Illinois-Iowa state line about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. According to the local news, an officer pulled over a semi on I-80 to conduct an inspection. During the inspection, the trooper noticed numerous indicators of criminal activity, whatever that means, prompting them to search the truck. 1,146 pounds of cocaine were discovered inside the truck. This contraband was estimated at a street value of over $40 million. 27-year-old, I can't even, Vanshpreet Singh and 36-year-old Manpreet Singh, both of Ontario, Canada, were arrested following the discovery. So that's international trafficking. They are both being charged with felony counts of possession of cocaine, possession with intent to deliver, and cocaine trafficking. Both were being held at the Henry County Jail to await their court appearance. But it's across international borders because they're from Ontario, Canada. So you can imagine they've been down to Texas or even Mexico and trafficked it, and they got as far as Iowa, Illinois. I'm just saying, this is just speculation on my part, that they got that far and were trafficking. Now, it could have came from California. It could have came from on the New York side. So either way, but 1,100 pounds of cocaine, and you know they're in bricks, as the picture shows on YouTube. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, almost 30 rolls of cocaine, about chest high bricks of cocaine stacked up, because they offloaded it and they had it in this warehouse, and they took it out of the trailer of the truck. And there is, the picture's kind of grainy. 10, 11, 12, 13, about 20 high. So 30 rows, 20 high. That's a lot of bricks of cocaine that got taken off the street. So thank you, officers, for finding that. 4 are hurt in a multi-vehicle crash that sends tractor-trailer into condominiums. 4 people were hurt after a multi-vehicle crash ended in a tractor-trailer crashing into a building on Monday. The accident happened on December 2nd in Woodbridge, Virginia at the 12700 block of Gordon Boulevard around 8:30 in the morning. According to the local news, a wreck involving multiple vehicles left a car, a van, an SUV damaged and sent a red pickup truck and a tractor-trailer into the moorings of Algonquin condominiums. 5 people were evaluated for injuries following the crash, and 4 were transported to a hospital. No one inside the building was hurt. Damage from the crash is expected to displace several residents, but the building still needs to be evaluated, if there's any structural damage to the building. Gordon Boulevard was closed in both directions between I-95 and Admiral Avenue as a result of the crash. It may be advised it's going to have an extended closure. The cause of the crash was not released at the time of the writing of the article. 17-vehicle pileup shuts down a Michigan interstate. A major pileup was reported near Hartford, Michigan on Monday afternoon. Just trying to get a little Connecticut accent in there. Sorry. According to Michigan State Police, the crash occurred shortly after noon on I-94 in Van Buren County. Troopers say that approximately 14 passenger vehicles and 3 semi-trucks were involved in a pileup near mile marker 46. In addition to the 17 vehicle involved in the crash, said that 15 other vehicles were involved in slide-offs near the crash. Police say that driving too fast for condition is believed to be a factor, with heavy blowing snow producing whiteout conditions. Both directions of I-94 were closed that day, and at the time of the writing of the article, there was no time that they knew the interstate was going to be reopened. So for any newbie drivers that are finding this podcast and finding the show, I do give out tips and tricks about adverse weather conditions. I am a 36-year veteran solo woman driver with 5 million safe driving miles. Never went in a ditch, never slid off the road, never did a donut, never hit anybody, not even in bad adverse conditions or anything. Across Michigan on I-94 with the two lakes in between the state, there is always, always, always whiteout conditions in that area. Always. If there is a winter weather storm coming through that area on I-94, going from like Chicago to Detroit, it's always whiteout conditions there. It's just how the location is. It's really nuts. 362 commercial vehicles were inspected during a 3-day blitz in Arizona. Multiple agencies partner for a 3-day vehicle enforcement operation in Arizona that sidelined dozens of trucks and drivers. On December 1st, the Arizona Department of Transportation released the results from a commercial vehicle enforcement operation that took place. Now, this was back in October, but these are the results of it. During Operation Blended Patch, 362 commercial vehicle inspections were performed, resulting in 82 drivers and vehicles being put out of service, meaning you can't drive, you got to park it. It was during the operation level 2 commercial vehicle inspections were performed with an emphasis on driver qualification, behavior, impairment, ELDs, electronic logging devices, and the level 2 inspection consists of a visual walk around of the vehicle for any plain view violations, lights, mirrors, busted windshield, does your wiper work, does your horn work, is there wire hanging down, do you got holes in your airlines, this kind of thing. Also, your credentials, your driver's license, your insurance, your registration, and are the brakes, they're not really checking brakes, but, you have any holes in the floor, your landing gear work, this kind of thing. So, 362 vehicles were inspected, and they found all kinds of violations that put a bunch of them, like they mentioned, a bunch of them out of service. 82 were put out of service. Reduced commercial vehicle weight limits go into effect on the Louisville Bridge. Kentucky transportation officials announced the lower commercial vehicle weight limits will go into effect on busy Louisville Bridge. This started December 3rd. Reduced weight limits will go into effect on the Clark Memorial Bridge, also known as the 2nd Street Bridge, over the Ohio River, connecting downtown Louisville to southern Indiana. Type 1 is 20 tons, no change. Type 2, 25 tons. They knocked it down from 27 tons. Previously 34 tons, Type 3, dropped it down to 29 ton. Type 4, there was previously 40 tons, down to 36. 5 axles was previously 40 tons, down to 31. So, in other words, if you're 80,000 pounds, you can't go over the bridge. 31 ton, that's only 2,000 pounds, that's only 62,000 pounds. You can't go over that bridge anymore. 6 axles, previously 40 tons, dropped it down to 32. So I guess they're routing semi-trucks around the bridge now. 7 plus axles, 41 tons, dropped it down to 34. Truck drivers operating vehicles exceeding these weight limits are asked to use alternate routes. Excuse me. Including the Sherman-Minton Bridge, I-64, or Abraham Lincoln John F. Kennedy Memorial Bridge, I-65, in downtown Louisville. The decision to lower weight limits came following an inspection of the 95-year-old bridge structure. While the bridge remains safe for car drivers, the inspection and subsequent analysis found that the deterioration has progressed to the point where weight limit restrictions are needed to better protect the structure from damage and ensure continued safety to all traffic. So again, this is a steel bridge going over the Ohio River, and it's the Clark Memorial Bridge also known as the 2nd Street Bridge. Commercial vehicles, stay off of it. Stay on 64 or 65 if you're going through downtown Louisville. A proposed truck ban on the Bridge of Americas, raising concerns for the officials on the Mexican border. A proposal banning all commercial vehicles from using the Bridge of Americas is raising concern in Mexico. The U.S. General Services Administration proposed eliminating all cargo traffic on the Bridge of Americas. This was back in September. The potential ban is part of a $700 million project created to improve infrastructure along the 57-year-old bridge, connecting El Paso, Texas to Juarez, Mexico. These improvements would include a new administration building, lanes for pedestrians, and passenger vehicle lanes. They propose 3 options following an environmental impact study regarding the project. One option, ban truck traffic during construction. One bans truck traffic permanently. And the third would not ban trucks, but no modernization would be made to the port. They say that banning commercial trucks permanently is its preferred option. The project is scheduled to begin in 2026 and last about 3 years. The Bridge of America is one of 2 bridges that carry commercial trucks across the border. Approximately 500 trucks cross the Northern Bridge of Americas each day, while the Isleti Zarago International Bridge sees more than 1,200 commercial trucks per day. That bridge also charges $9 per vehicle with 5 axles and $4.50 for each additional axle. The Bridge of Americas does not charge a toll. That's why there's a lot of trucks going over that. The El Paso City Council voted unanimously to write the GSA a letter of support for the truck ban in September. Now the mayor of Juarez, Mexico, is sending a letter to the U.S. State Department expressing concerns for the proposed commercial motor vehicle ban at the bridge. We need more bridges, more operating hours, and more U.S. Customs and Border Protection personnel, says the board member of the Mexican Chamber of Industry, like our Chamber of Commerce, said the local news. Isleta has too much traffic. If they close Bota, Bridge of Americas, we will have to find other ways to send our exports. Nevada troopers to send geo-targeted messages directly to your electronic logging device, or ELD, right onto the screen. The Nevada Highway Patrol announced a new program to deliver real-time alerts directly to commercial drivers through the electronic logging device. December 3rd, they announced the launch of a new program in partnership with DriveWise to send targeted alerts directly to ELDs using geofencing technology to provide location-specific information. Now, DriveWise is a ELD program for bypassing way stations, just like your Easy Pass. Officials say they will use the new system to provide truckers with updates on dangerous weather, chain requirements, high wind warnings, construction zone information, and traffic hazards in bold, high visibility formats like yellow background with black lettering, capital letters, etc. Troopers say that ELD alert system could be especially useful during the winter months in places like Reno, Carson City, and Tahoe. Now that's good on one hand, but on the flip side, wouldn't it be considered a distraction? And don't we have enough distraction while we're driving? Nevada's diverse terrain and challenging driving conditions, coupled with our position as a major transportation corridor, make initiatives like these essential. And are they going to be in multi-languages? Nobody ever thought of that question. So many drivers are of foreign ethnicity. Are they going to be in multi-languages, or is it all going to be in English? Good question. With increased truck traffic at vital interstates running coast to coast, these real-time messages will help prevent crashes and improve safety for all drivers. Not necessarily, in my personal opinion. We're proud to be at the forefront of using technology to improve highway safety. takes just one jackknife truck to shut down an interstate. The system, and it's always the trucker's fault, let alone people are doing 100 miles an hour across Nevada. This system allows us to proactively address hazards and keep traffic flowing smoothly. So you think. State police in Michigan and California have recently rolled out similar ELD alert systems. I didn't know that either. A driver had regard, air quotes, for safety of others during a police chase that ended at a way station. Really? A truck driver that refused to stop for police, but he operated in a safe manner during the pursuit. Any police chase isn't safe. See, this is the news. You know, they're trying to minimize the police pursuit, but he operated in a safe manner. Not. You're supposed to pull over and stop, not keep on going. The chase occurred December 3rd near Des Moines, Iowa, starting about 6:30 in the morning. There's plenty of on-ramps and everything to pull over near there. According to the local news outlet, police initially responded to calls reporting a semi-truck dragging a chain on I-80 near Underwood, creating sparks. Officers located him near Avoca, but the driver did not stop as police directed and continued along I-80. Like, I ain't stopping for y'all. What are you talking about? I'm not doing nothing wrong. Several law enforcement agencies deployed stop sticks once the pursuits reached Des Moines, deflating several tires on the rig. But he continued going. So that's safe? Really? The truck's on its rims? But that's safe. And it continued for another 2 hours. When officers finally forced him to enter into a way station. Officers then used tear gas to force the driver out of his cab, who was taken to the hospital for evaluation. Well, yeah, after you douse him with tear gas, well, hello, why didn't you pepper spray him while you're at it? Officers involved in the incident say that it's unclear why the truck driver would not stop, but did not appear like he had a malicious intent. Really, this driver actually was driving with due regard for the safety of others. He was taking measures to be safe as he was driving, even though he was not stopping for law enforcement. Can we say no habla no English? But yet they were using signs for him to stop and he still couldn't understand? Yeah, okay. Tyson Foods to close plants in Kansas and Pennsylvania, resulting in hundreds of layoffs. Kansas plant to close in February. Philadelphia location to close in January. Tyson Foods will reportedly shutter the company's Emporia, Kansas beef and pork plant in February of 2025, resulting in the layoff of about 800 workers. Now, if you're not familiar with Emporia, Kansas, because I used to drive a refrigerated trailer, been there plenty of times picking up for Tyson. It is out in the middle of nowhere on Highway 50. So they are displacing 800 people without work. There is not a lot of industry there. So, yeah, really? Tyson said about 200 of those workers would be shifted to the Holcomb facility and others would be offered transfer opportunities. You going to move them? You're going to pay for my moving? You're going to pay for the first month's rent and deposit for me to move into someplace else? You're going to displace me out of my home, my kids out of the school and everything, to go work someplace else? I'd be pissed. The city of Emporia issued the following statement. The City of Emporia, along with Lyon County, the Regional Development Association, Emporia Main Street, Emporia Chamber of Commerce, I can't talk today, Flint Hills Technical College, and Emporia State University acknowledges, they're like, we all know this, announced closure of Tyson Fresh Meats. Our thoughts are with the employees and families affected by this transition. What are you going to do to help? Tyson's been a valuable corporate partner over the years, and we are grateful for their contribution to our community. Can we say barf? Our collective priority is to support impacted workers. We are collaborating with local organizations, state agencies, and workforce development partners to provide resources, job placement assistance, and training opportunities. Are you going to, in Tyson, you going to give them a severance package? If you're shuttering the plant, that means it ain't doing good. That means it's losing money. Are you going to offer them employees, 600 employees, any kind of a severance package? You're only moving 200. What's going to happen with the other 600? Quote, the news of Tyson's closing the plant in Emporia breaks my heart. But how are those 600 people supposed to pay their bills with your broken heart? This facility is one of the largest employers in the region, and its closure will leave hundreds unemployed. You think? This is devastating news for these families and the community, especially at Christmas time, says Senator Roger Marshall. Why don't you take some of the severance that you're getting over Christmas for being a state senator and help the people out? Why don't you give them contributions and help them out? Like some of the country stars are helping out the people with the hurricane and everything in North Carolina. Senator, why don't the state legislature start helping these displaced workers out? Now let's go on to what's going on with the Philadelphia location. They also filed notice with Pennsylvania labor officials indicating that it will close 2 facilities in Philadelphia in 2025. They will close 2 of their Philadelphia plants located at 4001 North American Street and 520 East Huntington Park Avenue on the 31st of January. A total of 229 workers will be affected by those plant closures. 220 compared to 800 in Kansas. Tyson Foods stated that the Philadelphia facility closures were made to increase operational efficiency. Everybody's still buying beef and chicken. We still need to eat. What's going on with the income from everybody? You're raising prices on food, but yet you're having to close plants down? Where's the money going? Is my question. That the easiest thing for you to do is displace people working? I can't wait till January 20th. Just saying. Julia's Trucking Cafe is a trademark brand. Julia's Trucking Cafe podcast is ranked in the top 10% of 3 million active podcasts worldwide. Any and all images used on this show are shared under the Fair Use Act, which you can see here. No copyright infringement is intended, expected, or will be litigated. We thank you for joining us this week. We hope that you have a safe and prosperous week. Please keep the shiny side up. Until next time.